Hey there, scientists. I'm Miss Oyenoki, and this is Mr. Mammoth, and we're from PA Science, and we have a question for you. How old is the Earth? The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. That would be a lot of candles on that birthday cake. So, if we were to represent the entire Earth's life in this whole ribbon, a lot of ribbon, each one of these little red lines would represent some important event in the Earth's life. Let's go check it out. Come on, Mr. Mammoth. So if this whole ribbon represents the whole timeline of Earth, then Earth's birthday, 4.6 billion years ago, is way over here. And today would be way over there. Let's walk through this timeline and take a look at some of the big events throughout Earth's history. Now, come with us. We're going to take a walk through Earth's history. So if we start, that all these little lines are pretty clumped up together. I couldn't even fit the cards in that little space. So let's take a look at what some of those events were. So this first red line represents 65 million years ago, the end of the dinosaurs. The second red line represents 4 million years ago, first early human-like ancestor. The third red line represents 100,000 years ago, first modern humans. And this last red line represents the Ice Age, which ended about 10,000 years ago, which would be even closer to today. So when you think about it, 10,000 years seems like such a long time ago, which it is. But if you look at the whole scale of Earth's history, 10,000 years is just one tiny inch. How different was the world during the Ice Age? The North and South poles are still pretty icy today, but even at the peak of the Ice Age, the area right at the center of the Earth was not completely covered in ice. There was marshes and prairies and swamps, much like they are now, including where we're from, Los Angeles. Welcome to our family reunion. Mammoths, mastodons, and elephants are part of a family called proboscideans, referring to their proboscis, or their trunk. All right, get out of here, guys. Mammoths were grazers, kind of like the modern cow. So they would graze on grass, and they had wide mouths for picking up a lot of grass at one time. Grass is very hard to digest, so they had very flat teeth to be able to crush the grass as much as possible before they actually swallowed it. They didn't have many teeth, so each tooth they had was quite large. Here it is. You can see the flat surface for grinding, and it's a fairly large tooth. Mammoths are known as the woolly mammoth for their fur. They had a layer of fat under their skin, and then an undercoat, and then an overcoat of fur. Also fairly small ears for their body size to prevent heat loss. Mastodons had shorter fur and narrower mouths because they were something called a browser. A browser doesn't look on the ground for grass. They're looking in the trees and going in between trees to get to the branches and leaves. This. They still had the small ear size like the mammoth, but their teeth were a little bit pointier. This is not the tooth. This is the root. This is the tooth. The tooth was pointier, which created crevices for them to crush those branches and those leaves to digest them. Another kind of mammoth the Columbian mammoth, was found frequently in California, is very similar to the woolly mammoth, except that it was much larger, and instead of having so much fur, it just had skin more like the modern elephant, since it lived in a much warmer climate. But its teeth were flat, like the mammoth, as it was also a grazer. Elephants have evolved over time from the mammoth and mastodon species. It's kind of like a Pokemon. You have a Pichu, and then a Pikachu, and then a Raichu. They have different characteristics and different abilities, but they all have similarities in that they come from the same original Pokemon. They're all yellow, they all have those cute little cheek circles. An elephant is adapted for a much warmer and drier climate than the mammoth and the mastodon. So they don't have the fur, they have skin and very little hair, and they have much larger ears to allow for heat to escape and to cool them down. They are grazers and browsers, so they have teeth that are between the mammoth and mastodon tooth. Alright, science fans, that's all for now. Join us in our next video. Okay, scientists, thanks for watching. Did you enjoy that lesson? Subscribe below to see more fun science videos. You can also become a member of PS Science on Patreon to support what we're doing. See you next time!